Hey apprentices, Metasolaray here, and we are finally back with the Udyr rework. However, Riot seems to change his name to SETT, and gave him some nice abs. Look at those things. I'm just kidding. This is SETT, the boss, and I'm here to teach you how to play like a boss. We're going to be going over the tips and tricks you need to get started with your new favorite champion. We'll be going over his runes, his items, and his abilities to give you a nice head start. Now guys, there are so much more I want to cover, so make sure you let me know down in the comments below what you're looking for in my next video so I can give you everything you need. Let's get started. Alright, so next we're going to get down to his abilities. First off, we have Pit Grit. Now this ability comes in two portions. While the Heart of the Hat Beast is really just a way to sustain through lane and especially very useful for bruisers and range champions, the real thing that really sets SETT apart is his heavy hands. Now, his passive is broken into two basic auto attacks. The first one, his left hook, is a very basic auto attack, nothing special. But the second one comes out not only 8 times faster than the left, but it deals additional damage and has a slight range increase to help you go ahead and get those running away enemies and give them a nice double punch. Now, one thing you guys have to know, especially for auto attack based champions such as SETT, and those of you guys who are really interested in auto attack based builds with attack speed, the auto attack animation, while it is faster for that second punch, is very slow for the third and fourth follow up. As you guys can see here, not a very big cooldown between auto attacks. So you're going to want to make sure you optimize by moving in between your auto attacks. Knuckle Down. This ability gives SETT a 30% movement speed increase for the first 1.5 seconds of the ability's activation. However, please do note that this movement speed increase is only going to affect you if you can see the target. If they're hiding in the fog of war, you will not get the movement speed increase until you can see them. Next, this ability is an auto attack reset ability. What this means that if, regardless of your auto attack animation timer, you will reset for another set of auto attacks for the next 2 combos. So you want to use this to optimize for 4 auto attacks off on a single target, especially in the early game, to get maximum amounts of damage. Lastly, you want to use the mobility granted by this ability to go ahead and get in range of your other abilities, such as Haymaker and most importantly, Base Breaker. Haymaker, this is the ability that makes SETT frontline like a boss. This ability stores 100% of the damage you've taken and turns it into damage and shielding, with the conversion based off of your AD for the damage and 100% for the shield. What W does when activated is sets it a blast in front of you in a wide area, dealing physical damage. However, if you can see there in the center, if the enemy is hit in that area, you're going to change that physical damage into true damage, and that, my friends, is always a beautiful thing. Lining up this ability will show your mastery of SETT, and it will separate you from the good SETTs and the great SETTs, as Riot so kindly puts it. This ability's high cooldown will make it a little bit scary to use in the early game, but as you get more points into it, it will be your main wave clear and a way to just really excel in team fights. Base Breaker is SETT's E. This ability pulls any target with it in front or behind you in for physical damage and a nice good old slow. However, if you're able to hit a target both in front and behind you, that slow is instead turned into a 1-second stun and is great for starting all of SETT's combinations. Do note, however, this ability is very short range and is very deceptive how far it can reach. So make sure you're using your Q to go ahead and get in range. You can pull off that beautiful double target stun. And lastly, we have the WWE move, the Showstopper. Beautifully named because this ability allows you to not only engage in team fights, but disengage if you need to. This is the peel tool and what defines SETT in the mid to late game in team fights. When using this ability, do note that the primary form of damage is going to be based off the enemy's bonus health that you've captured. This means that if you use this ability on squishies, it will not do as much damage and will be a much weaker ability. So, when you're using your R, do note that the range is minuscule, so you're going to go ahead and use it, grab a target, slam into the back line, and then proceed to beat him as it provides a 99% AoE slow. Use this as a peel tool when behind, and an engage tool when you're able to go ahead and dive into the middle of the enemy team. Alright guys, so one of the main things we're looking for is what abilities do you max? From my research, there are 2 primary styles. You're going to want to take Q level 1, E level 2, and then W level 3 in most matchups. Then max Q, W, and E in that order, and of course take an R when possible. This will give you the most re-engages, as Q's movement speed is vital to go ahead and get in range for your facebreaker E's, and as well as giving you consistent upkeep damage and threat in the middle of your mid-game team fights. When against ranged matchups or matchups such as Darius where you're kind of falling behind, then you can go ahead and switch over to a W max first. This defensive style will give you more wave clear as well as provide you more range poke. Do note, however, that you're going to suffer from high cooldowns and easily be punchable when your W is off cooldown. Do remember that hitting those W sweet spots will be vital for securing a great pick, and when you're against those ranged matchups will be the key to your success. However, for you jungler sets out there, I got you covered as well. You're going to want to level Q, W, and E in that order. These will be, since your first clear has two camps that are very much single target, and you won't be able to get your stun off. From there, you're going to want the same action style of Q max first, W second, and E third. For set, there's going to be a huge debate, Triforce or Black Cleaver. While Triforce gives you more attack speed and the Sheen procs, I'm going to have to say in the end, this is a Black Cleaver champion. Set gains a much larger potential shield from Black Cleaver than Triforce, more AD, and move speed from off his W when he purchases Black Cleaver, since it gives the phase passive based on physical damage, not just auto attacks. For your core, you need an item that gives you cheap and excellent tanky stats while still providing you aggressive forms to engage your enemies and win your lanes. The added armor penetration will make your Q hit harder and more consistently on tankier targets as they start tanking up with more armor purchases. Offensively, when you're looking to add to offensive power, there are certain items you're going to be looking for. These items are as follows. Stairs Gauge provides you a great mid to late game anti-burst situations. This is the item you want to go for. If you are carrying a bounty, you're going to want to take Guardian Angel as it provides AD and armor and his second life, so you can avoid giving out that 700 bounty to the enemy ADC. From there, you can also take Triforce, and if you have managed to pick set into a much squishier composition, Black Cleaver can't really penetrate any armor that isn't being purchased, so Triforce in that case will be a much better purchase. Lastly, there is that Titanic Hydra, which again, if you're buying Tiamat, this is a great to add on for an additional auto attack reset, wave clear, and most importantly, additional damage. Now, this last pick, I know it's going to be a little crazy, but hear me out on this. Frozen Mallet gives Set a great way to stick on targets. Ease your haymakers on the target you're holding down, and for some champions like Nocturne who only have a single dash, a great way to prevent them from getting onto your back line. Defensively, there are a couple items I believe are really core. The most important is Dead Man's Plate. Dead Man's Plate provides Set a way to go ahead and gap close, get in range for his ultimate, and most importantly stick on targets with additional CC. It provides him the move speed he needs in the mid game to really lock down targets. If you're going against a lot of crit champions such as Yasuo, Tryndamere, and Jhin, then you're going to look for Randuin's Omen. Again, this provides you damage reduction against all crit damage, and as well as gives you a nice AoE shield slow, so you can Q them to death and beat down all of those crazy crit stacking champions. If you're against more sustained champions such as Fiora, grab a Bramble Vest and upgrade it in the later parts of the game into a Thornmail. For if you guys actually happen to get really strong, then go ahead and get a Warmox. Warmox gives you the most HP out of any singular item and 10% cooldown reduction for that much needed CDR that Set needs. So it will give you more damage on your grit, more tankiness off your grit, and it will give you the ability to really shut down this. For MR, your common go-to item will be Spirit Visage. It gives you CDR on his build path, and as well as increases your healing. If you need adaptive helm, since you're against Cassiopeia, Singed, or Teemos, grab that. And if you're aching for a little bit of attack speed, which is a great build in the later portions of the game when you have high health, so you have a way to sustain throughout the team fight. For boots, you're going to either want to go to Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads. It just depends on matchup. If it gets a lot of AP champions, Merc Treads are great, especially against CC. If you need you got too many auto attacker champions in the game, get your Ninja Tabbies and make sure you're using Legend Tenacity or Stairs Gauge to make up for your lack of tenacity. An example full build is as follows. As you guys see here, we have Ninja Tabbies, Dead Man's Plate, Black Cleaver, Warmogs, Spirit Visage, and Stairs Gauge. giving me a beautiful 34% crit conversion, 3,558 health at level 6 if you somehow got really fed. So, you guys will be extremely tanky, have a lot of damage, and most importantly, you're going to be playing like a boss. Alright guys, next up we have the runes that you need to be taking. There are 3 keystones that are core to SETT and just gives him everything he needs. They are Grasp of the Undying, Aftershock. My go-to is Grasp of the Undying. However, Aftershock uses the same runes, so we'll go over both keystones and then go through their runes. Grasp of the Undying is the safest pick for SETT. It provides him increased max health and gives him sustain throughout combat, giving you a safer landing phase and more HP to convert into grit in the mid to late game. Aftershock, on the other hand, is the rune I take in against ranged matchups, or matches where I'm not going to be able to stack a lot of grit in the first place. This rune gives you much easier engages, and also gives you a way to sustain in the middle of a team fight during the late game off of any target you ult. When you come down from your ult, the showstopper, you will be blasting the enemy with not only AoE damage of the enemy team's bonus HP, but also off of your HP with the Aftershock proc, giving you a lot of surprising AoE damage on your engage. Alright apprentices, I hope this guide was a great way to get you started on SETT. Personally, I think this champion has a lot of potential, and a lot of ways that we can really maximize where he is going to be going. However, guys, if you're looking for more information, make sure you follow the channel and let me know in the comments down below, as there are so many more ideas and so many more things I wanted to cover, but unfortunately we're out of time today, and I want to know what you guys are looking for so we can make that content as quickly as possible. Till next time, apprentices, make sure you show the Rift why you are called the Showstopper. Chowder.